Hey everybody, it's Brian from Rants. Following up on the last video I did on the coronavirus. One of the big conspiracy theories going around with this virus is that it's being underreported. I believe that is true. I believe because of what it has done to the economy, that even though they're saying about 15 million people now, I'm assuming that that's probably 30% less, because until someone comes in and they're put into quarantine and then they start to show symptoms, it could be a couple of days, and that symptoms could be just fever. So my feeling is that we're probably over 20 million. I know that the United States has done a great job so far keeping those that they fear may be infected, and the citizens of this country have been going willfully into quarantine. I believe the conspiracy theory of that this is man-made is true. I do not believe that it was maliciously released, unlike some people are saying, to cause more economic hardship on China, which we can see right now is affecting the world economy on all the major indexes. I believe that that can be backed up by the theory that in Wuhan there's a large biosector, and we know that on the outskirts of Wuhan are government-run medical facilities. We know that some of them have been linked to doing chemical warfare investigation. I believe that is why the Chinese government is so tightly lipped on this and has gone to the first of building pop-up hospitals and causing quarantine now to go beyond the population of California in certain areas. This makes me believe that they don't want this strand to be recorded in its purest form. And I believe they're also worried, since it's man-made, that this thing, since it's never been probably tested outside of a lab, may begin to turn into something else. It may mutate, and that is as scary as can be, because all the research that we're doing on this virus right now is based similar on the flu and some of the other bovine viruses that have been out there. And that if this thing is man-made, it may have been stitched together for a certain reason. And the fact that it's spreading now faster than it was originally means that it may be in the middle of a mutation. We know that HIV was man-made. We know that Lyme disease was man-made. But this thing spreads a lot easier. So I still back up the 100-mile quarantine rule, where if you hear about this anywhere with 100 miles, don't visit this until we see the numbers going down. I believe in washing your hands. I believe in showering anytime you're going out in public. I believe that anything that you're getting in the mail, maybe, douse with some Lysol or something like that, because think how many of our products, even that come through Amazon, have come through China. Now, we know that vermin, which in most cases like Ebola and some of the other far-reaching viruses, are the reason for this. We know that it showed up in a marketplace. We know that it has now gone from meat to poultry to fruits and vegetables to human. I believe that this was accidentally released from a lab through garbage or through medical waste. We know that the way that they dispose of that in other countries is not the same that they do it here. And we know that in sewage systems, in landfills, we're going to find the type of vermin that spread this. A lot of poor Chinese people will go out and herd that type of vermin to sell at markets as cheap meat, as fillers. So I think that this was a not natural occurring virus. I solely believe that this is man-made, and I think that the CDC probably is starting to realize that now too, and it's why they're heading to China to help out, because a virus like this, if it could spread or mutate and join with the flu, if it reaches areas that have really bad health care, second and third world communities, this thing could be a massive killer. I want you to think of the movie Outbreak. I don't believe that we're going to see the effects unless this does join another virus here in the United States, such as pneumonia, which we know kills more than more people die of pneumonia here in this country than they do of cancer. In fact, my own grandmother, who had cancer, died of pneumonia from an immune-compromised immune system. So I believe that, the more information that comes out there, the more we'll learn more about this. But I definitely agree with all the stuff I said before. You should definitely stay that 100-mile radius. If you feel sick, quarantine yourself, separate yourself from your family, and immediately go and get checked for this. And that's more than just the fever. I believe that we're going to probably see this thing hit by the end of this month about 50 million people in China. And if that happens, I think that more travel bans will come into effect. But do not think that this thing had a mind of its own. This thing was created somewhere. And if China really, 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 really wants to take responsibility for this, whatever lab testing they've done, they will release to the world, and to get this going with a vaccine as soon as possible. Because the last thing that we need is another a bird-like flu, where it just gets to the point where it is so big and so rapid that it starts killing hundreds of thousands of people in countries like India and countries in Africa, in low-lying South Pacific countries where poverty is rampant. They don't have the medical facilities we have in this country. So take this very serious. And again, I'm going to keep updating you guys. Next time you'll probably hear from me will be after the president gives the State of the Union speech. But anything that I do hear or read on the back channel or I get out of some of the Asians social media sectors where people are putting up videos like they did in Hong Kong, I will spread. And again, take this very seriously. And that's my rant for today on Super Bowl Sunday. Have a great time. Go Chiefs. And I'll talk to you guys soon. All right? Be good.